The door to my dorm room exploded open like a thunderclap in a library, splintering the fragile silence I'd built around my midnight cram session. "What the hell, man? You look like Johnny Depp's fever dream," boomed a voice that could only belong to a guy built like a linebacker, his silhouette filling the frame before the fluorescent hall light hit him square in the face. I froze, my feathered pirate hat slipping sideways over one eye, heart slamming against my ribs as if it knew this was the night everything I'd hidden would spill out like cheap rum from a cracked bottle. It was Halloween Eve, or close enough, 2 days before the actual holiday, but who'd quibble over calendars when finals loomed like storm clouds over the Pacific? I'd thrown on the costume on a whim, a pirate getup I'd scavenged from the thrift shop down on Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley, because why not? Study night in the dorms didn't have to be a funeral march. A little flair, a little rebellion against the grind of midterms. Little did I know that flair would drag 3 giants from the gridiron into my orbit, turning a solo vigil into a collision course of secrets, sweat, and something dangerously close to salvation. I'm Henry Rivera, 21, a junior majoring in comparative literature at UC Berkeley, the kind of guy who quotes Whitman while everyone else is slamming energy drinks. Gay as a rainbow flag on Pride weekend, but the closet door was bolted shut tighter than the gates of Alcatraz. Growing up in a sleepy suburb outside San Diego, with a Mexican-American mom who baked tamales like they were love letters and a dad who coached Little League with a whistle around his neck, I'd learned early to bury the truth. "Boys like you don't do that stuff," he'd said once, after catching me staring too long at the lifeguard at the beach. That was the end of it. Or so I thought. Berkeley was supposed to be different, progressive, open. A bubble where you could breathe without the weight of expectations crushing your lungs. But even here, in the haze of weed smoke and radical zines, I played it safe. No grinder pings in the dead of night. No rainbow pins on my backpack. Just me, my dog-eared copy of Leaves of Grass, and a playlist of indie folk that sounded like heartache set to acoustic guitar. That night, though, with the pirate vest cinched too tight and eyeliner smudged from nervous swipes, I felt invincible. Or maybe just foolish. The voice belonged to Jake Harlan, starting quarterback for the Cal Bears, all 6'3" of him crammed into the doorway like he'd been poured there. Behind him loomed Tyler Voss, the tight end with shoulders broad enough to block out the sun, and trailing like a reluctant shadow was Marcus Hale, the running back whose speed on the field was matched only by his awkward shuffle off it. They were legends in the athletic dorms across the quad, the trio that turned Friday night lights into poetry in motion. What the hell were they doing in my wing of the humanities hall? "A study group?" I stammered, yanking the hat back into place, my voice pitching up like a bad falsetto. The room smelled of stale pizza and the lavender candle I'd lit to ward off the funk of unwashed socks. My desk was a war zone of highlighters and note cards, the glow of my laptop casting eerie shadows on the posters of Frida Kahlo and James Baldwin tacked to the cinderblock walls. Jake laughed, a deep rumble that vibrated through the floorboards. "Nah, man. We're on a scavenger hunt. Frat thing. Find the weirdest costume in the nerd dorms. Yours wins, hands down." He stepped in without invitation, his sneakers squeaking on the linoleum, Tyler and Marcus piling in behind like dominoes. The room, which had felt spacious for one, shrank to the size of a phone booth. Tyler scanned the space, his blue eyes narrowing on my bookshelf. "Pirate, huh? Or matey, you got any rum to go with that?" He was the joker of the group, all dimples and drawl from his Texas roots, but there was a sharpness to his gaze, like he was cataloging every detail for later ammunition. Marcus hung back, leaning against the doorframe, his dark skin glistening under the hall light. He was the quiet one, the scholar-athlete who'd majored in sociology to understand the game off the field, as he'd once told a reporter. His eyes met mine for a beat too long, and I swear the air thickened, charged like the moment before a fumble. Scavenger hunt for costumes? On a Wednesday? I managed, sinking into my desk chair to put some distance between us. My heart was doing double time, a samba in my chest. These guys were straight as arrows, or so the campus lore went. Jake with his cheerleader ex, Tyler's string of sorority flings, Marcus dodging questions about his type altogether. But here they were, invading my sanctuary, and part of me, the reckless rum-soaked part, didn't want them to leave. Jake flopped onto my bed, uninvited, kicking off his shoes. Dead serious. Fee-hosting. Loser buys the keg for the tailgate. He eyed my notes. What are you studying anyway? Li? God, that sounds brutal. Romantic poetry, I said, before I could stop myself. Byron Shelley. The works. Tyler snorted, grabbing a highlighter and twirling it like a baton. Poetry? Man, I can barely spell touchdown. This is your life. Marcus finally stepped in, closing the door with a soft click that echoed like a gunshot. Ease up, Ty. Not everyone's trying to sack quarterbacks for a living. His voice was low, smooth as aged whiskey, with a faint southern lilt from his Georgia upbringing. He pulled up my desk chair's twin from the corner, the one piled with laundry, and sat across from me, knees almost brushing mine. Byron, huh? She walks in beauty like the night. I remember that from high school English. I blinked, caught off guard. You. Quota Biron. He shrugged, a half-smile tugging at his lips. Had a teacher who made us memorize it. Said it was about seeing the light in the dark. His eyes held mine again, and for a split second, the room felt like it belonged to just us two, pirate and poet, strangers on the verge of something unnamed. What started as an intrusion stretched into the witching hour. They didn't leave. Jay commandeered my laptop for a quick YouTube spiral on pirate movies. Tyler doodled crude ships on my note cards, and Marcus listened. Really listened. As I rambled about Shelley's Ode to the West Wind, how it was a cry for revolution, for change against the dying light. He nodded, asking questions that cut straight to the bone. So, if the wind's the destroyer and preserver, what's your west wind, Henry? What shakes you loose? I faltered, the eyeliner suddenly itching like a confession. I guess. Fear. Of not fitting. Of being the odd man out. The room went quiet, the kind of quiet that amplifies heartbeats. Jake paused the video, Tyler's pen stilled. Marcus leaned forward, his hand resting on the desk inches from mine. Fitting's overrated. It's the misfits who changed the game. That night, they stayed till dawn cracked the sky over the Campanile. We talked football and sonnets, tamales and touchdowns, the Bay Area fog rolling in like a shared secret. When they finally filed out, Jake clapping my shoulder, Tyler saluting with a pirate R, Marcus lingering with a see you around, Henry. I collapsed onto my bed, the costume discarded in a heap. My dorm, once a fortress, now hummed with echoes. Little did I know those echoes would soon roar into a storm. The next morning, sunlight sliced through the blinds like Judgment Day, and my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Study night sequel? Your place 8 p.m. Bring the hat. And my stomach flipped, a mix of thrill and terror. Marcus Hale, the enigma of the backfield, wanted more. Was it pity? Curiosity? Or something that made my pulse race like I just run the 40-yard dash? I spent the day in a daze, lectures on post-colonial theory blurring into fantasies of what more might mean. By evening I'd tidied the room, laundry hidden, candle relit, and donned a plain tee, the pirate garb too vulnerable for round two. But when the knock came, it was all three again, bearing pizza boxes and six-packs of craft IPA from the off-campus brewery. Round two of the weirdest study group ever, Jake declared, dumping the boxes on the floor. We sprawled in a circle, cross-legged like kids at a sleepover, the air thick with pepperoni and possibility. This time the talk turned personal. Tyler confessed his fear of the NFL draft, the pressure of being the Voss kid from a football dynasty. Jake admitted the loneliness of the spotlight, how every win felt like borrowing joy from tomorrow's loss. And Marcus, God Marcus, he spoke of his mom, a single teacher in Atlanta who'd fought for him when the town whispered about the soft boy who loved books more than brawls. Coming here was my west wind, he said, echoing my words from the night before. Shook everything loose. Our eyes locked, and in that gaze I saw it. The mirror of my own hidden storms. He knew. Or suspected. And instead of bolting, he stayed. As the weeks blurred into November's chill, our study nights became ritual. The football players, my unlikely muses, invaded twice a week, turning my dorm into a crossroads of worlds. I'd read aloud from The Great Gatsby, drawing parallels to their gridiron gladiators, and they'd counter with tales of locker room lore, the brotherhood forged in mud and bruises. Jake's bravado cracked open to reveal a poet's soul, quoting rap lyrics like scripture. Tyler's jokes masked a vulnerability that made my heart ache for him, like a brother I'd never had. But with Marcus it was different. Electric. We'd linger after the others crashed on the futon, debating Foucault under the desk lamp's glow. His hand would brush mine when passing a book, a spark that lingered like aftershocks. One night, rain lashing the windows like accusations, he whispered, "Henry, you ever feel like you're playing a role? On and off the field." "Every damn day," I breathed, our knees touching now, deliberate. He didn't pull away. Instead, he closed the gap, his lips finding mine in a kiss that tasted of rain and revelation, soft, tentative, then deepening like a sonnet's turn. It was my first real kiss, unscripted and American as apple pie under stadium lights. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the world outside fading to static. "I didn't plan this," he murmured, thumb tracing my jaw. "But damn if it doesn't feel right." From there it bloomed. Stolen moments in the stacks of Doe Library, hands intertwined under cafe tables at Free Speech Movement Plaza. Marcus, out to his teammates but not the world, navigated the tightrope with me. Whispers in the shadows of Memorial Glade, where the eucalyptus whispered back our secrets. He was my Byron, dark and stormy, pulling me into beauty's night. Thanksgiving break loomed, a fracture in our rhythm. Jake and Tyler headed home, Texas and Ohio calling, leaving Marcus and me to a quiet campus. We walked the fog-shrouded paths to Tilden Park, sharing a thermos of coffee spiked with cinnamon, talking futures. "After graduation," he said, arms slung over my shoulders, "I'm thinking grad school, sociology of sports, unpack the myths." "And me," I teased, leaning into him. "You? You're the myth, Henry. The one that makes the rest make sense." But myths have monsters. The betrayal slithered in on a Monday in early December, 2 weeks before the big game against Stanford. I just finished a shift at the campus bookstore when my phone lit up with Jake's name. "Dude, party at the house tonight. Bring your boy." "Wait, shit, didn't mean that. Just come." "My boy." The words hit like a blindside tackle. How long had they known? Or suspected? The Phi Delt house throbbed with bass and beer pong, the air thick with Axe body spray and desperation. I spotted them in the kitchen, Jake manning the keg, Tyler flirting with a sorority girl, Marcus nursing a solo cup by the fridge. His eyes found mine across the crush, relief flooding his face. He pulled me into a corner, kissing me fiercely, publicly enough to raise eyebrows but not alarms. "Missed you," he growled, hands framing my face. We danced, or tried to, in the sardine can living room, bodies pressed, laughter bubbling like champagne. For once I felt seen. Whole. Then Tyler sidled up, slurring slightly. "Jo? Ale. Your lip boy's got moves. Didn't peg you for the poetic type." His grin was wolfish, eyes darting to Jake, who hovered nearby. Marcus stiffened. "Drop it, Voss." But Tyler, emboldened by liquid courage, leaned in. "Small man. We saw you two at the library, holding hands like some rom-com." "It's cool, bro. Just didn't expect it from the king of the end zone." The kitchen fell into a hush, cups pausing mid-sip. Jake's face twisted, shock, then something darker. "Betrayal? What the fuck, Marcus? You've been lying to us." Marcus's hand tightened on mine. "Not lying. Just living." The words ignited the fuse. Jake lunged, not with fists but fury, shoving Marcus against the counter. "Living? While we're out there bleeding for the team and you're this? Sneaking around like it's some shame." I stepped between them, heart hammering. "It's not shame. It's love, you asshole." The room erupted, whispers turning to stares, phones emerging like weapons. Tyler tried to play peacemaker, but his laugh was hollow. "Chill, guys. It's Berkeley. Shit happens." But it didn't chill. Marcus pulled me out into the night, rain slicking the streets of Frat Row, his breath ragged. "I'm sorry, Henry." I should have told them sooner. We ended up back in my dorm, soaked and shaking, collapsing onto the bed in a tangle of limbs and regrets. "They'll come around," I whispered, tracing the line of his jaw. "They're your brothers." He shook his head, tears mixing with rain. "Brothers don't out you like that. Tyler." He texted the group chat. Screenshots. It's everywhere now. My stomach plummeted. The betrayal cut deeper than Jake's rage. Tyler, the joker, the one who'd shared his fears over pizza, weaponizing our vulnerability for a laugh? Or worse, for acceptance. By morning, the campus was a minefield. Whispers in the lecture halls, side eyes in the dining commons. Marcus's phone blew up, coaches' calls, teammates' shade. He skipped practice, holing up with me. Our world shrinking to four walls and the portrait of Dorian Gray. A book about hidden truths and their cost. The climax crashed on game eve. The big game, Cal versus Stanford, the axe at stake. The oldest rivalry west of the Mississippi. Marcus suited up anyway, jaw set like granite, but in the locker room the fracture lines showed. Jake cornered him pre-warm-ups, voice low and lethal. You pick sides, Hale? Us or him? Marcus met his gaze, unblinking. Both. Always both. The field that night was a coliseum under Klieg lights, 60,000 souls roaring in the chill. I watched from the student section, pirate hat long discarded, clutching a foam finger like a talisman. The game was brutal. Fumbles in the red zone, interceptions that twisted like knives. Marcus ran like fury incarnate, dodging tackles, his legs a blur of grace and grit. But in the fourth quarter, down by 7, Jake called an audible. A play they'd run 1,000 times. It was a trap. The handoff went wide, Stanford's linebackers swarming. Marcus twisted, took the hit square in the ribs, a crack that echoed over the broadcast. He hit the turf, curling fetal, the crowd's gasp sucking the air from my lungs. I vaulted the barrier, security forgotten, sprinting the length of the sideline. Marcus! The medic swarmed, but I shoved through, dropping to my knees in the mud. His eyes fluttered open, locking on mine. Pain and peace in equal measure. Henry! He wheezed, hand finding mine amid the chaos. Told you. Misfits changed the game. The ambulance wailed him away, Jake and Tyler trailing white-faced, the axe lost in overtime. In the ER waiting room under fluorescence harsher than any dorm bulb, the truth unfolded. Jake paced, fists clenched. I fucked up. Thought it was a phase or, I don't know. Scared me. Seeing him happy without us. Tyler slumped in a chair, eyes red-rimmed. I sent those pics to shut down the rumors. Protect him, I thought. Stupid as hell. Marcus emerged from X-ray, cracked ribs, bruised lung, but no breaks in the unbreakable. We gathered in his room, a makeshift family stitched from frayed threads. Apologies flowed like the four drip, raw, halting, real. Jake pulled Marcus into a bear hug, whispering, "You're my brother. Always." Tyler clasped my hand, mumbling, "Sorry, pirate. Owe you a rum run." In the quiet aftermath, as snow dusted the Berkeley hills, and rarity a grace, Marcus and I walked the empty quad, his arm in a sling, my shoulder his crutch. Humanistic ending? He joked, echoing a late-night debate on Steinbeck. I smiled, kissing his temple. Not ending. Just the turn. Like in a sonnet, the volta. Where the wind shifts and you see the light. We weren't heroes, no grand gestures to rival Hollywood. Just two guys, flawed and fierce, navigating the American dream one vulnerable step at a time. Betrayal had scarred us, but forgiveness mended stronger. And in the heart of it all, the dorm room confessions, the field of fallen warriors, was a truth as old as Whitman. We contain multitudes. Lovers, fighters, friends. In the end, that's the real game. The one worth every hit. The sling came off in mid-January, just as the eucalyptus leaves turned that brittle gold before the rains. Marcus moved like he'd been remade. Cautious at first, testing the give in his ribs. Then with that old swagger that made the world tilt toward him. Our study nights evolved, shedding the secrecy like winter skin. Jake and Tyler showed up sans pizza boxes now, arms laden with textbooks they'd actually cracked. Jake tackling poli-sci for his minor, Tyler grinding through stats with a highlighter gripped like a grudge. It was Tyler who bridged the chasm first. One Tuesday, post-seminar slump, he cornered me outside Wheeler Hall, the foghorn from the bay moaning in the distance. Hey, Rivera. Walk with me. His Texas twang was subdued, no jokes in tow. We ambled toward the Greek theater, the amphitheater's stone seats empty under a slate sky. Look, he started, kicking a pebble across the path. I ain't good at this touchy-feely shit, but what I did, outing you two like that? It was cowardice. Plain and simple. I nodded, the chill seeping through my hoodie. Yeah, it was. He stopped, facing me square. Grew up in a town where gay was the punchline to every bad joke. Dad's a deacon, mom's the bake sale queen. When I saw you and Marcus, it hit too close. Like, what if that's me? What if the jokes were about my own blood? The confession hung there, raw as an open wound. Tyler Voss, golden boy of the gridiron, wrestling demons I'd only glimpsed in his late-night rants. You're not, I said softly. But if you were, you'd still be you. The guy who makes everyone laugh till it hurts. He huffed a laugh, genuine this time. Damn straight or not straight. You know what I mean. We clasped forearms, a bro hug without the bro. And just like that, the betrayal's echo faded a notch. Jake's thaw was slower, a glacier calving under Spring's insistence. He threw himself into the spring scrimmages, barking orders like a drill sergeant haunted by ghosts. It wasn't until the team fundraiser, a charity dodgeball tourney for the food bank, that he cracked. Marcus and I manned the humanities booth, slinging raffle tickets for signed jerseys, when Jake lumbered over, sweat slicked and sheepish. Tickets? He grunted, tossing a 20. 5, Marcus said, but his eyes were wary. Jake pocketed the stubs, then lingered. Heard you read at the open mic last week. Whitman stuff. Sounded real. I performed Song of Myself at the campus cafe, voice trembling but steady. Marcus in the front row mouthing the words. Yeah, it was. He shifted, massive frame awkward as a colt. I get it now. The hiding. Felt like that after the injury my freshman year, coach benching me, wondering if I was done. Like my whole self was the lie. Marcus clapped his good shoulder. You're not done, Harlan. Never were. The hug that followed was fierce, ribs be damned, and when Jake pulled back, his eyes were clear. You two. You're good for each other. And for us. Don't let our dumb asses forget it. By February, the quad bloomed with crocuses, defiant pops of purple against the mud. Our circle solidified. For misfits stitched into a quilt of second chances. We tailgate the basketball games, me explaining haiku over hot dogs, them debating zone defenses like sonnets. Marcus and I carved out our own rhythms too. Sunrise runs along the marina, where the salt air tasted of promise. Lazy Sundays in my dorm, trading annotated copies of Giovanni's Room. Baldwin's words weaving our fears into tapestries. But love, that tricky beast, doesn't unfurl without thorns. Marcus's grad school apps loomed. Offers from Columbia, UCLA, even Stanford, the enemy across the bay. What if it's East Coast? He murmured one night, tangled in sheets that smelled of us, the city lights winking through the blinds like conspirators. Then we go east, I said, tracing the scar on his side. A faint line from the hit that changed everything. He propped on an elbow, dark eyes searching. Your lit program? Berkeley's your dream. Dreams shift like Shelley's wind. I kissed him slow, sealing the pact. But doubt lingered, a shadow at the feast. Spring break hit like a revelation. Sun-soaked drives down Highway 1. The Pacific crashing turquoise against cliffs that humbled the soul. We piled into Jake's beat-up Jeep, the four of us, windows down, playlist blasting from Tyler's UX chord. A mashup of Outkast and Fleet Foxes, worlds colliding in harmony. Big Sur lodges with creaky porches. Campfires where stories unfurled like smoke signals. That first night, under a canopy of redwoods that whispered ancient secrets, Tyler pulled out a six-pack and a confession. Y'all know I'm bi, right? The words dropped casual as a bottle cap, but his hands trembled popping the tab. We froze, mesmerized midway to mouths. Jake recovered first, clinking his can against Tyler's. Knew you were weird, Voss. Figures. Marcus laughed, pulling Tyler into a side hug. Welcome to the club, brother. Me? I saw the boy behind the bravado, the one who'd betrayed out of terror, now stepping into light. Took guts, I said. More than any dodgeball throw. The fire crackled, stars pricking the velvet sky, and for hours we traded truths. Jake's fleeting crush on a teammate in high school, buried under layers of denial. Marcus's first inkling at 13, stealing glances at the swim team. My own beachside epiphany, waves erasing footprints but not feelings. It was humanistic gospel. Flawed men mending under the same moon, no judgment, just the quiet power of being heard. Back on campus, the rhythm pulsed onward. Finals loomed again, but this time with allies. Study marathons in the Moffett Library's underground lair, where the fluorescent hum was drowned by our banter. Marcus aced his apps. UCLA it was, close enough for weekends, far enough to stretch the tether. Graduation season crept in with jasmine-scented air. caps and gowns fluttering like flags of surrender. The ceremony was a blur of speeches and cheers, but my anchor was Marcus beside me. No, wait, he had another year of eligibility, a redshirt from the injury. I walked alone, diploma in hand, but his whoop from the stands was louder than the dean's drone. Post-ceremony, we escaped to the rooftop of the Claremont Hotel, overlooking the glittering sprawl of Oakland Hills. Jake and Tyler crashed the party with contraband champagne, toasting to the pirates' plunder, degrees and dreams. As the cork popped, Marcus pulled me aside, the city a constellation at our feet. Henry Rivera, you changed the game. I grinned, eyeliner-free but heart-pirate bold. We all did. The kiss that followed was our Volta deep declarative, the wind shifting toward horizons shared. Yet, as summer beckoned, a new conflict stirred. Job offers trickled in for me. Publishing assistant in San Francisco, freelance editor gigs that smelled of ink and independence. But Marcus's world tilted toward the pros. Scouts whispered at practices, dangling contracts like carrots. It's not just football, he confided over late-night foe in the Elmwood district. It's security. For us. For whatever comes next. I nodded, chopsticks paused mid-slurp. And if next is rings and vows? Or kids someday? His smile was wistful. Then we build it. Brick by queer brick. The betrayal's ghost resurfaced in July, heat wave baking the bay. Tyler, interning at a sports agency downtown, forwarded a chain email. Teammates griping about Hale's distraction. Code for me. Jake shut it down in the group chat. Back off. He's carrying us to the playoffs. End of. But the whispers festered. At a preseason barbecue in the Berkeley Hills, a veteran lineman cornered Marcus by the grill. Heard you're soft on that lit fag. Hope it don't cost us the Rose Bowl. Marcus's fist clenched around his burger. Call him that again and you'll eat your teeth. The guy backed off, but the seed was sown. Pressure mounted, coaches' sidelong glances, media probes into his personal life. Marcus withdrew, practices bleeding into isolation, our calls clipped with exhaustion. One August evening, storm clouds bruising the sky. He showed up at my sublet in Temescal, off campus now, a shoebox apartment with exposed brick and dreams. I can't do this, he said, slumping against the doorframe, duffel at his feet. My heart seized. The team? Or us? Both. They're saying I'm throwing off the huddle. And you? God, Henry, you're my North Star. But if I burn out chasing it? I crossed the room, cupping his face. Then we pivot. Like in the poetry. You preserve what's worth saving. He collapsed into me, sobs muffled in my shirt, the dam breaking. We talked till midnight, mapping contingencies. Deferring the draft, grad school first, building a life uncompromised. Jake and Tyler rallied too. Impromptu intervention at a dive bar off San Pablo. Shots of tequila and tough love. Screw the scouts, Jake growled. You're more than a stat sheet. Tyler nodded, eyes fierce. And if they can't handle the real you? Fucking. We got your back. The storm broke that night. Rain sheeting the windows like absolution. In the morning, Marcus called his agent. Pass on the combines. I'm playing for keeps, not contracts. The decision rippled. Coach hauled him in, a tense standoff in the film room, but Marcus held firm. My game's stronger when I'm whole. Take it or leave it. Take it they did. The season opener against Oregon was electric. Marcus torching the secondary for 150 yards. Jake's passes threading needles, Tyler stonewalling blitzes. Post-game in the locker room roar. The vet who'd slung the slur clapped Marcus's pads. My bad, man. You're a beast. Humanity, it seemed, thrived in the scrum. As fall deepened, our story wove tighter. I landed the publishing gig, commuting the BART from Oakland, evenings spent with Marcus at alumni events or curled on the couch with Baldwin essays. Jake started dating a poli-sci TA, her debates sharpening his edges. Tyler explored his bisexuality with quiet dates, confiding in us like a diary. Climax revisited in November. Rematch with Stanford. The axe hunger burned brighter, scars from last year's loss fueling the fire. Pre-game in the tunnel's dim throb, Marcus gripped my hand. Press pass dangling around my neck. A perk of my new beat covering campus sports for the Daily Cal. Win or lose, he said, helmet tucked under arm. You're my MVP. The game was apocalypse, turnovers, penalties, a Hail Mary that hung like fate. Down by 3 with seconds ticking, Jake audible to Pirate, their secret play. A reverse handoff to Marcus feinting left, cutting right. The stadium held its breath as he juked the safety, streaked untouched into the end zone. Touchdown! Exclaimed. Pandemonium. In the stands I screamed till hoarse, tears blurring the lights. Post-victory, on the field slick with glory, he found me amid the Gatorade showers, lifting me in a spin that defied gravity. We did it, he gasped. No. We did. Winter solstice brought snow again. A miracle dusting the campanile. Our circle gathered in my apartment, turkey tacos, spiked eggnog, toasts to the year's forge. Jake proposed to his TA over dessert. Tyler outed himself to his folks via FaceTime, their awkward pride beaming through pixels. Marcus and I slipped to the fire escape, city twinkling below. Propose yet? Tyler hollered from inside. Soon, Marcus called, then quieter to me. Marry me, Henry? Not today, but when the wind's right. I nodded, kissing him under the rare flakes. Yes. To all of it. The ending. Not tragic, just profoundly human. A gay love story etched in American soil, from dorm room whimsy to stadium symphonies. Betrayals mended, conflicts conquered, emotions laid bare like open books. In the end, we weren't just survivors. We were the verse, the living, breathing song of ourselves. The proposal came on a whim wrapped in tradition, the kind of serendipity that makes you believe in sonnets over statistics. It was early spring, cherry blossoms rioting pink along the paths of the botanical garden. A hidden gem tucked behind the stadium where the roar of crowds gave way to the hum of bees. Marcus had texted, "Meet me at the succulent house. 4 p.m. Wear something Whitman-esque." I'd laughed, pulling on a linen shirt the color of desert sand, the fabric whispering against my skin like a promise. The garden was alive with unlikely alliances, cacti cozying up to ferns, agaves nodding to azaleas. A metaphor for us if ever there was one. Marcus waited by the glass conservatory, leaning against a pillar overgrown with ivy, his frame still carrying that athlete's poise but softened now by semester's end. Grad apps submitted, the draft a distant hum. He held a small bundle wrapped in butcher paper, tied with twine that looked pilfered from a crafts fair. Poetic, I teased, kissing his cheek, tasting salt from his run. Practical, he countered, grin flashing. Open it. Inside was a notebook, leather-bound, pages thick as hope, its cover embossed with a single leaf veined like a map. Tucked between the first pages was a note in his blocky scrawl. Section 1. I celebrate myself and sing myself, and what I assume you shall assume. Below in finer print. Will you assume me forever? Marry me, Henry? My breath caught, the world narrowing to the pulse in my throat. Marcus. He dropped to one knee, right there amid the succulents, their spines a silent jury. I know it's not flashy, no flash mob, no jumbotron. Just us in this weird, wonderful place where things survive against odds. Like you. Like us. Tears pricked, hot and unbidden. Yes. God, yes. He slid the ring on. A simple band of white gold, inlaid with a sliver of turquoise from his mom's old necklace, the stone catching light like a captured sky. We kissed amid the cacti, laughter bubbling as a gardener politely averted her eyes. Word spread like wildfire through dry grass. Jake hooped over beer at the faculty club that night, toasting with a pint that sloshed like enthusiasm. About damn time, Hale. Rivera's been waiting since that pirate get-up. Tyler, ever the romantic under the ruff, showed up with a bottle of mezcal from his last Texas trip. To Queer Kings, he said, clinking glasses on my fire escape, the city a velvet backdrop. His own dating life had blossomed. A barista with tattoos and a philosophy degree. Their story unfolding in coffee-fueled debates that echoed our own beginnings. But joy's shadow is vigilance, and ours crept in with the summer heat. Marcus's decision to skip the draft had ripples. Scouts cooling, agents hedging bets. You're risking it all, his dad said over a tense Zoom from Atlanta. The man's face etched with the worry of a father who'd bootstrapped his way from sharecropper son to school principal. Football's your ticket, son. Don't throw it for feelings. Marcus's jaw tightened, the screen a barrier too thin. It's not throwing, Dad. It's choosing. Henry is my future, same as the field. I sat beside him, hand on his knee, silent support. The call ended with gruff love. Proud of you, boy. Just be smart. But the doubt lingered, a burr in the bedding. My own crossroads loomed. The publishing house gig evolved into a junior editor role, greenlighting manuscripts that sang of marginalized voices, queer poets, immigrant sagas. But a headhunter dangled New York. Associate at a Big Five imprint, the kind of leap that could catapult my name into footnotes. It's the dream, I told Marcus over dim sum in Chinatown, steam rising like unspoken fears. He nodded, chopsticks pausing. And if the dream pulls us apart? Then we bridge it. Flights, weekends, words on pages. But the words felt flimsy, paper airplanes against a gale. The conflict crested in August, wedding plans a whirlwind of registries and RSVPs. We'd opted small. Courthouse vows followed by a backyard bash at Jake's family ranch up in Napa. Vines heavy with promise. Invites went out. Mom and Dad Rivera flying up from San Diego, Marcus's folks road tripping from Georgia. Our patchwork crew of dorm survivors as the wedding party. Then the call from Coach Ramirez. A pro day invite, last chance showcase for the supplemental draft. Hail, you're golden if you show. Don't let pride or whatever screw you. Marcus paced the apartment, phone clutched like a grenade. One day. Fly to Dallas, run routes, fly back. Prove I'm still the guy. I swallowed the knot in my throat. And if they offer? What then? His eyes met mine, stormy. We talk. Like always. Dallas was a furnace, humidity clinging like regret. I waited in Berkeley, editing a manuscript on queer history while the clock ticked accusations. Text came sporadic. Nailing it. Miss you. Then radio silence during the evening session. Panic bloomed at 2 a.m., my ring glinting mockingly in the lamplight. When he finally called, voice hoarse. Henry. They want me. UFL team, starter slot. Good money. But it's Florida. Now. The words landed like a fumble in the red zone. Now? As in before vows. A trial. One season. We could make it work. Me down there, you hear visits. Betrayals echo, faint but sharp. The old fear of being the distraction, the fag in the shadows. Or what? I uproot for your gridiron ghost. The line crackled with hurt. It's not a ghost. It's security. For our life, the house, the trips, the maybe kids one day. I hung up, tears hot on the pillow, the succulent spine prick a prophecy fulfilled. Dawn brought Jake at the door, summoned by a frantic text. Talk to me, pirate. We walked the marina, gulls wheeling like judgments. I spilled it all, the offer, the fracture. He listened then. Hail, scared man. A failing you both ways. But love ain't a play you audible alone. Tyler joined via video from his agency's happy hour. Mezcal in hand. Tell him, no half measures. You're all in or bust. Emboldened, I booked the red eye. Dallas Airport at noon. Rental car screaming toward the facility in Arlington. Marcus emerged from the weight room, sweat slicked, eyes widening at my approach. Henry? What the? Shut up and listen. I grabbed his wrist, pulling him to the parking lot, the Texas sun a hammer. Florida? Without me? That's not our Volta. That's a fade route to nowhere. He deflated, helmet dangling from his hand. I thought. Stability first. Stability's us. Together. Defer the dream again. Marry me first, then we chase it as a team. The kiss was desperate, salty with sweat and relief, semis rumbling past like applause. He called the agent from the tarmac. Pass. Family first. Back in Berkeley, the wedding weekend unfolded like a hymn. Napa's hills rolled golden, the ranch a sprawl of oaks and outbuildings strung with lights. Mom Rivera fussed over empanadas, her rosary clicking prayers of joy. Marcus's dad grilled with quiet pride, toasting in Spanish to mi hijo y su luz. Vows exchanged under a trellis of grapes. Jake best man with a ring-bearing golden retriever at his heels, Tyler officiant in a borrowed suit, his barista partner beaming beside. Do you Henryander take Marcus to fumble with, to fight for, to love through every down? Ido. And you Marcus to read with, to run with, to assume in all multitudes? Forever. The reception was chaos divine. Line dances to Bad Bunny, Jake's epic toast quoting Byron, he walks in beauty. Tyler's surprise piñata stuffed with condoms and poetry books. As dusk fell, stars pricking the vineyard sky, Marcus and I slipped away to a hillock, rings clinking like chimes. Humanistic enough? He murmured, hand in mine. More. It's ours. But stories don't end at I do. They evolve. Fall brought Marcus's master's program, sociology seminars dissecting powers plays. I climbed the publishing ladder, acquiring a debut novel on gay athletes that felt ripped from our lives. Jake's wedding followed in June, a vineyard echo with Marcus as best man. His speech a masterclass in Brotherhood Reborn. Tyler's coming out went public, ESPN feature on by Visibility in Sports. His Texas twang steady as steel. Ain't about labels. It's about the huddle, who's got your back. Our first anniversary dawned in the desert. A road trip to Joshua Tree. Cacti standing sentinel like old friends. Under a sky vast as possibility we renewed whispers. Kids via surrogacy. A home in the Oakland Hills, careers entwined like vines. Conflict lingered in microdoses. Family holidays where Dad Rivera's machismo clashed with rainbow flags, or Marcus's occasional draft what-ifs. But we navigated with the tools we'd forged. Talk, touch, the unyielding belief in redemption's arc. One December eve, 2 years post-pirate, snow flurrying rare and radiant, our circle reconvened in the old dorm. Now a guest suite for alumni events. Pizza boxes stacked, IPAs cracked, we retold the origin. The door bursting, the costumes folly, the love that followed. To surprises, Jake raised his glass. To joining them, Tyler echoed. Marcus pulled me close. To the night that changed everything. And as laughter filled the room, echoes of that first thunderclap, I knew. Ours was no fairy tale but a testament. Dramatic, gay-capped, American as the dreams we dared to wear. Years have a way of softening edges, like waves wearing cliffs to sand, but they sharpen others into blades you never saw coming. By our third anniversary, the rhythm we'd built hummed steady. Marcus adjuncting at Cal, his thesis on queer kinship in team sports turning heads in academic circles. Me, senior editor now, helm of a boutique imprint specializing in LGBTQ+ voices. Our latest coup, a memoir by a trans Olympian that flew off shelves like confetti. Oakland suited us. A craftsman bungalow on the foothill fringe, backyard lemon tree heavy with fruit, a rescue mutt named Byron yapping at squirrels. Jake and his wife, Elena, had decamped to Sacramento for her congressional run. Their toddler a whirlwind of curls and curiosity. Tyler partnered steady with his barista beau. Now a published philosopher, coached high school ball in the East Bay. His ESPN spot evolving into a podcast on fluidity in athletics. We converged monthly, potlucks that stretched into dawn, the old dorm tales retold with embellishments, my eyeliner as war paint, the footballer's entrance a siege of brothers. But beneath the polish, fissures formed. Marcus's name surfaced in coaching whispers, Cal's staff eyeing him for grad assistant, a pipeline to head gigs. It's legacy, he said over backyard rose one twilight, fireflies winking like co-conspirators, building what I couldn't break. I clinked his glass, pride mingling with a twinge. Just don't forget the poet in the huddle. He laughed, pulling me onto his lap, the glider creaking protest. Never. You're my playbook. The blade fell in October. Autumn leaves carpeting the quad like warnings. A headhunter called me, LA offer, executive editor at a major house, salary that could fund the adoption we tabled. It's now or never, the recruiter purred. Hollywood adjacent. Your queer lit could thrive there. I mulled over runs along Lake Merritt, pelicans skimming water like skipped stones. Marcus noticed the quiet, cornering me post-shower, towels slung low. Spill, Henry. You're brooding like Byron on a bad day. We sat on the kitchen island, coffee steaming, Byron the dog at our feet. La. Big league. But, uprooting? Again. His face shadowed then cleared. For you? We'd thrive. Beaches, your mom closer. My coaching network expands south. It sounded logical, a volta toward sun. But doubt nagged. Was this compromise or concession? The holidays amplified it. San Diego visit. Mom's tamales a hug in food form, Dad's gruff proud of you boys over backyard beers. A milestone. His machismo mellowed by grandkid fever. Georgia leg. Marcus's folks farm, collards and cornbread. His sister grilling adoption logistics with lawyer precision. Y'all ready for chaos? she teased, her wife bouncing their niece on knee. Back home, New Year's Eve with the crew. Jake's family zooming in, Tyler's pod live streaming toasts. The decision crystallized.
I-annunsa, siampak na fizzing.
Cheers erupted, Marcus's kiss sealing it like fate. Packing commenced in January's gray. Boxes labeled with inside jokes. Pirate plunder books, huddle essentials, sneakers. The move was a ballet of logistics. U-Haul groaning up I-5, Byron carsick in the cab. Pit stops at In-N-Out for sanity shakes. LA enveloped us like a fever dream. Silver Lake bungalow with bougainvillea walls. My office overlooking the Hollywood sign. Marcus interviewing at USC for a fellowship. The scene pulsed, brunch spots teeming with influencers. Hikes in Runyon Canyon where dogwalkers swapped scripts like gossip. But the shine tarnished quick. Commutes clawed hours from days. My imprint's corporate overlords quashed risky manuscripts. Market viability, the death knell for raw queer rage. Marcus's USC gig? A bait and switch. Teaching load tripled, research sidelined for grunt work. Tension simmered, unspoken at first. Dinners devolved to take-out Thai small talk skirting the strain. Miss the bay fog, he'd mutter, scrolling Cal highlights. Miss the quiet. I'd echo, inbox overflowing with rejections. The betrayal brewed in March, cherry blossoms mocking our malaise. Tyler visited for a pod tap. His mic set up in our living room. Marcus guesting on Locker Room Love. Midway a call. Jake's wife pregnant, Sacramento joy amid our quiet storm. Post-recording, Tyler lingered, eyes sharp. Y'all good? Feels off. Marcus waved it off. Adjustment blues. But Tyler pressed, post-beer on the porch.
Bull.
I know that look, same as when I outed you. Hiding hurts. Alone later, Marcus cracked. It's not working, Henry. LA's devouring us. Your job's a grind, mine's a joke. We're drifting. The word gutted me. Then we fight. Like always. He shook his head, eyes glistening. We've been fighting silently. Compromising into strangers. The argument erupted. Voices rising over the hum of traffic. Accusations flying like errant passes. You pushed for this. I hurled. Legacy, you said. And you chased the dream, he fired back. But whose dream? Ours, or the one they sold us? We collapsed onto the couch, spent, Byron nosing worried pause between us. Dawn brought truce. Couples counseling via Zoom. A queer therapist with a noble shit vibe. Betray no one, she said in session 3. Not even your fears. Homework. Date nights unplugged. We reclaimed the city. Sunset at Griffith Observatory. Telescopes framing stars as vows renewed. Poetry slams in Echo Park. My verses on him earning snaps and his blush. Marcus quit USC for a part-time gig at a community center. Coaching queer youth in flag football. Real legacy, he called it. Climax hit in June. Pride Month, a riot of rainbows. My imprint greenlit a controversial title. Graphic novel on trans athletes despite pushback. Launch party at a WeHo bar. Pulsing with bodies and beats. Marcus stood sentinel by my side. Hand in mine as execs toasted. Then the whisper. A rival editor wine loose sidling up. Heard Hales slumming it at that center. Wasted talent. Could have been prime time. Marcus overheard, stiffening. Later in the car, engine idling. That's it. I'm done playing small for their sake. The drive home was silent fury. Dissolving into sobs at a turnout overlooking the sprawl. I betrayed us, he choked. Pushed you here for my ego. No, I countered, gripping the wheel. We both did. But we can betray the betrayal, go home. Home. The bay called like a siren's song.
Resignation standard. Uhol summoned southbound.
Back in Oakland by July. The bungalow waiting like a faithful dog. Jake's congrats barbecue doubled as baby shower. His wife glowing, our prodigal return toasted with craft brews. Tyler's pod episode. LA lessons. When the grass ain't greener. Listeners flooded with stories. Queer exoduses from the dream factory. Reclaiming roots. Fall brought rebirth. Marcus's center work bloomed into a non-profit grant. Gridiron Allies mentoring LGBTQ+ athletes. My imprint? Remote hybrid, freedom to curate without chains. Anniversary 4. Big Sur Redux, the 4 of us plus partners and tots. Campfire tales now including the Editor. Jake's kid tugged Marcus's sleeve. Uncle Mark, tell the pirate story. He did, embellishing my eyeliner as enchanted coal. Our laughter a chorus. Yet the humanistic core pulsed deeper. Adoption papers filed. Surrogate match in the Midwest. A journey of injections and hopes. First ultrasound. A grainy heartbeat, ours in embryo. Conflict's embers flared in winter. Dad Rivera's health scare. A heart stint that yanked us south. Marcus holding vigil while I mediated family fractures. We're in this, he whispered in the hospital hush, hand over mine on the bed rail. Spring's thaw. The baby's arrival, a boy we named Elliot, after the poet, not the quarterback. His cries filled the bungalow, Byron sniffing curiously, our sleep fractured but full. By summer, the circle expanded. Elliot's godparents Jake and Elena. Tyler's family merging at lake house getaways. Marcus's nonprofit thrived. A scholarship in our names for dorm misfits. One eve, rocking Elliot under lemon-scented stars, Marcus joined me on the porch. Think we'd have made it without that first night? The costume, the Crashers. I smiled, babe's fist curled around my finger. Crashers made the story. But we wrote the ending. Human, messy, profound. A gay epic in American ink. Where love isn't the absence of storm, but the song sung through it. Elliot's first steps were taken on a rugby field, or what passed for one in the Oakland Hills, a patchy green expanse behind the community center where Marcus's Gridiron allies hosted their annual youth tourney. It was late May, sun slanting gold through oaks, the air thick with grilled veggie burgers and the squeak of cleats on dew-kissed grass. 24 kids, ages 8 to 18, a kaleidoscope of genders and orientations, dashed in flag football scrums that blurred lines between competition and communion. I knelt in the dirt, phone forgotten as Elliot, chubby-thighed toddler in a tiny Cal jersey, wobbled from Marcus's arms toward me, 3 unsteady lurches that conquered worlds. Duh! He crowed, collapsing into my chest, the crowd erupting in cheers that drowned the ref's whistles. Marcus scooped us both, spinning till dizzy. Look at you, little poet. Already tackling life. The day etched permanent. Tyler refereeing with theatrical flair, his philosopher partner timing sprints with a stopwatch and sage advice. Jake and Elena picnicking sidelines, their daughter braiding daisy crowns for the queer flag carriers. It was our legacy manifest, dorm whimsy scaled to fields of dreams, where betrayal's scars were badges, conflict's canvases for growth. But time, that relentless quarterback, audibled again. Elliot at 3, a whirlwind of questions and chaos, demanding stories of Uncle Pirate till Horse. Marcus's nonprofit ballooned, partnerships with the NFL's inclusion arm, grants flowing like touchdowns. My imprint hit stride, a bestseller on by icons in sports history, Tyler ghostwriting the foreword. Yet the pull southward tugged anew. Marcus's alma mater, Georgia Tech, dangled a head coaching gig for their nascent LGBTQ+ athletics program. Pioneering post. The dean called it over dinner in our kitchen, Zoom earnest. Built from the ground up. Your vision, Hale. We waited poolside at Lake Merritt that night, Elliot splashing in shallows, gulls heckling. Atlanta's home, Marcus mused, toes tracing mine underwater. Family close, legacy deep. But uprooting again? After L. I squeezed his foot. We've mastered the move. And Elliot grandparents' lapse, cousins' chaos. Doubt flickered but resolve followed. Resumes updated, interviews virtual then visceral. Atlanta's humidity, a hug from Marcus's youth. Tour of the campus evoking Berkeley's ghosts but warmer, slower. The offer landed in July. Fireworks cracking over the estuary. Acceptance call made, then the cascade. Sublet the bungalow, pack the poetry shelves. Farewell bash at the old dorm quad. Now a alumni lounge with plaque. In memory of surprise study nights 2025, where worlds collided. Jake flew in, baby on hip. Tyler drove up, pod mic capturing toasts. To new fields, Jake raised his IPA. To old loves, Tyler echoed. Packing unearthed relics. The pirate hat, moth-eaten but mighty, tucked into Elliot's memory box. Marcus's sling repurposed as a garden trellis tie. The drive east was epic. Cross-country in a minivan, pit stops at Arch's Red Rocks. Elliot's wow mantra. Atlanta embraced us. A ranch house in Decatur, peach trees bowing welcome. Marcus's sister hosting tamale nights fused with collard greens. Coaching debut. Season opener against Emory. kids in rainbow pennies, stands packed with families who'd once whispered. Win narrow but fierce, celebrated with ice cream trucks and hugs. My remote work adapted. Imprint's LA office a zoom away. Atlanta's literary scene a discovery. Poetry slams in Little 5 Points. Queer book clubs dissecting Baldwin under magnolia shade. Conflict, inevitable, struck in fall's first frost. Elliot's preschool adjustment. Homesick wails for Cal. Clash with Marcus's travel for conference panels. My deadlines stacking like storm clouds. One November Eve, post-bedtime, it boiled over in the kitchen. Dishes clattering like accusations. You're gone more than here. I snapped, scrubbing a sippy cup raw. And you're buried in emails, he countered, tie loosened from a donor dinner. We moved for us, but it's fragments. Elliot's monitor crackled. A whimper, then wail. We froze, the fight fracturing into tag team soothe. Marcus rocking me, singing west wind lullabies till sleep reclaimed him. Dawn coffee on the porch, dew beating railings brought reckoning. We're fraying, Marcus admitted, hand over mine. Need the huddle. We zoomed the crew. Jake's pragmatic pep. Delegate, dummies. Hire help. Tyler's philosophical nudge. Presence over perfection. Therapy resumed. Virtual but vital, unpacking the nomad's toll. Roots aren't places, our counselor said. They're people. Nurture the network. Actions followed. Date nights at Piedmont Park. Picnics where Marcus read Where the Wild Things Are with gridiron flair. Family game nights with Marcus's folks. Dad Rivera FaceTiming dad jokes from afar. Climax crested at the program's first championship. Regional tourney in Savannah's coastal chill. Magnolias defiant against December gray. Elliot cheered from bleachers, pom-poms homemade as Marcus's team. Underdogs all. Clawed to victory, final flag pull a symphony of screams. Post-game in the locker room's humid glow, a player. A trans teen with fire in her eyes hugged Marcus. Coach, you made me believe I belong. He choked up, glancing at me in the doorway. You all do. That night, Marshside bonfire, stars thick as promises, he pulled me aside. This is it, Henry. The game we built. Our kiss tasted of salt wind and smoke. Elliot dozing in a carrier, the world whole. Years telescoped. Elliot at 5, kindergarten quarterback with a poet's lisp. The crew's annual summit, rotating coasts, Sacramento summers, Oakland off-seasons, Atlanta Christmases. Jake's congressional bid won, Elena's platform echoing our fights. Tyler's pod syndication, episodes on family fumbles and recoveries. Betrayals? Micro only, a donor's homophobic slip, quashed by Marcus's steel. My manuscript leak spun into solidarity. Emotions deepened. Elliot's first crush, a classmate's confusion navigated with books and honesty. Marcus's book deal, Huddle Hearts. Queer Tales from the Turf, bestseller with my foreword. 10th anniversary. Berkeley return, full circle. The dorm lounge booked, pirate costume dusted off, me in hat and vest, Marcus in jersey, Elliot giggling accomplice. Jake's family, Tyler's crew. Original crashers reconvened. Toasts flowed, to doors burst open, to costumes worn bold, to loves that weathered every down. As cake cut, red velvet, Mom Rivera's recipe, Marcus leaned in. Still singing ourselves? Multitudes more, I whispered, ring-catching light. The ending. No fade to black but a perpetual play. Dramatic in its dailies, suspense in the unknowns, emotional in every embrace, romantic in the quiet vows renewed. Humanistic to the core. A gay story, American-born, where 3 footballers joined a surprise night, and in joining forged a lifetime. In the grand huddle of it all we won. Not the axe, not the draft, but the beautiful bruising game of us.